All right, yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to Everything is Disco, where it's more than 4-4. We breaking you out the 3-minute, 30-second box. My name is Bartholomew Jones. You know what I mean? I'm a hip-hop educator, coffee connoisseur. You know what it is, MC. And I'm here with the ever illustrious. We said we could say that last time, right?
We did.
Okay, I'm here with the ever illustrious Thomas Egler, a.k.a. Tommy Rocket. But I'm going to let you run your own, you know what
a.k.a. Tommy Rocket, a.k.a. Mr. Sure Thing, a.k.a.
Yo.
I create. You know?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, he wasn't ready. Hold on, I'm ready. Hold up. It's your boy, Bart Jones, a.k.a. Coffee Black, no O, just an X like Malcolm, a.k.a. the Coffee Black Panther, a.k.a. no sugar, no cash rules, everything around me creams, a.k.a. the hood hipster, a.k.a. Dudley Brew Right, a.k.a. B for V60, a.k.a. the fantastic poor, a.k.a. the Khalida fourth wave writer, a.k.a. the silver dollar surfer saying,
let's go.
You know what it is.
We hype out here, everybody.
Sipping single origins. Hold up.
we are super hype out here, everybody.
Yeah.
Listen, this is
back.
The first time that we're able to podcast and like run music and just like it's working. We haven't done it in a long time.
And it's smooth, you know what I mean?
Yes. It's feeling really good.
There's a rule called I don't know if you've heard of it, the 80-20 rule.
Hit it.
It's from a book called The 4-Hour Work Week. But basically it's saying anything that you can outsource in order to free up your mind for creativity or to think about infrastructure or to move forward on other money-making ideas is essential with like getting financial freedom. And so that's a tool we've been trying to implement more. And we'll post a link down if you want to hear it, like, or see a video about it. But the point is, the idea is being able to take your attention, because it's saying anything that you do, you're only going to do some of those things really, really well. And so trying to focus your attention on the things you're going to do really, really well, and then everything else slide off to the side. So you got that 80-20% ratio. And that's what we're trying to do right now with podcasting, with music, with business. Like recently on our website, I just moved a lot of things over to drop shipping. We have a heat press, and so my wife is a wonderful artist, and so she does all our graphic design. But as far as like being able to execute on designs quickly, it's a hassle having to like find time to print, and then it just takes a lot of time that slows down our process. So being able, even though I lose a couple extra bucks, for me right now is worth it to outsource the thing for someone else to do. So I have that time. That time is more valuable than my money. So 80-20 rule with podcasting is crazy, fam. Like we're using Zoom right now, and it's dope because it's doing a lot of the work that we would have to do for us. You know what I mean?
Hold on, I gotta let the beat rock real quick.
Hello, let it rock. Hey. Yeah.
All right, my bad.
Hey, by the way, Coffee Black album coming soon. So if you're an indie artist, you're into indie hip hop, baby. So check us out. You know what I mean? February 28th. Thomas.
This is actually one of the songs that I produced for my good guy, Bartholomew Jones. Me on the vocals in the background.
Hello. Oh, bro. Yo, I showed your vocals. I showed like the ending of Coffee Black to everybody in the Patreon community. They went crazy. They was like, that's not the intro? If that's not the intro, what's the intro? I was like, wait till y'all hear that joint, bro.
Yeah.
Wait till y'all hear that joint.
It's so great making music with you, man. Like all the way back when I was like, you were still in college. And
bro,
I was just kind of
no dreads.
Yeah.
We got some hang time these days, you know what I mean?
Yes, drip people. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I have dreads. I got super long ones.
Yeah, Lock Gang.
Lock Gang.
Ooh, aka the Loch Ness Monster.
Hey.
I like it.
Anyway, man, I'm really excited just to continue to create with you, man. We've been doing music for a while, and now this is kind of the overflow of a lot of our conversations.
It is
our creative just development that we do together, and so we just want to kind of let you in on that process. Kind of see you, hear what it's like, see what we do, and we're just gonna talk about literally all the stuff that we would normally talk about over the phone, and just kind of let you in on the inside, the goods, cloth
Yeah.
talk, if you will.
Yo, the part of me, if I hold my mic like a rapper, I'm a rapper. So if I start, I'm gonna try to hit you with the hey yo, you know what it is? It's the big microphone.
Yeah.
Bro, it's the worst sound ever when you hear somebody's thumbs gently caressing the mic while they trying to spit. It's like
It's the worst. It's the worst.
It is. So yo, I still want to do the rest of the podcast like this though. It's actually kind of dope because I feel like this keeps the mic equidistational from your mouth. So instead of this happening,
the what?
Yeah, that's a whole inside joke. But my wife and one of our friends, Carla, had this conversation about if equidistant is a word, and so I just started making ridiculous, suffixes onto the word equidistational. You know what I mean?
Distentational. Distentational.
Yeah, bro. You just gotta. So yeah, but I think this is cool, bro. Anyway, I'm not gonna mess with the settings right now.
That's amazing.
That's super loud. But yo, let's get into it this week. It's a couple things I know we wanted to run through. Yes. So first things first, bro. Gayle King, Snoop Dogg.
Wowzers.
How you feeling?
So, man,
you probably should laugh at this.
No, it's funny. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy how people dig their own grave, so to speak. That was probably the worst.
That's a good way to put that.
In this particular situation, but people put themselves in the worst situations on purpose a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Gayle King got tons of clicks, tons of views, probably a whole lot of work thrown her way because
CBS got tons of clicks.
Yeah, but I'm saying because of back when she did the R. Kelly interview.
Oh,
right.
Excuse me.
Wait a minute.
Sneeze dab.
Sneeze dab.
You got to protect the mic. You know what I mean?
Excuse me. Anyway, no, I think it's interesting how, I'm sure she got a lot of clicks, a lot of views, and probably some, work thrown her way because of the R. Kelly situation.
Oh,
and,
that's a good point.
She did her thing, back in that interview, and then the pot got cold. You know what I'm saying? After, it's been almost a year.
It had been another black man accused of sexual assault to interview a high profile black man.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's
you think they pimping
her? It's kind of hard to be pimped if you out there doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for her, for example, she's out there just like,
I feel like that's how pimping works, though.
I mean, it is, but like, that's a whole different situation.
Okay, yeah, we'll break down the dynamics of pimping.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that route, but I will say this: she's putting herself in a situation to show, like, hey, honestly, I don't necessarily like she doesn't really value, certain morals and certain standards that people hold. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you talking about a man who's passed? Why are you talking about a dead man this way?
Oh, I thought you were still talking about the R. Kelly joint. I think she bodied that.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking about the R. Kelly situation. Like, that worked. That worked for her. She killed it. She knocked it out of the park. That got clicks. That got views. That probably got more work thrown her way. And then the whole trail ran cold after a while.
Yeah,
I haven't really heard a whole lot. Me personally, I don't follow Gayle King.
I don't either. But she wasn't in the news cycle like that.
Yeah, when R. Kelly, that whole interview was popping.
Yeah.
Then it was like, oh, Gayle King, and then trail ran cold. Now all of a sudden, this whole situation with Kobe, it's like, okay, well, all of a sudden she's back. She's current again. I was watching an interview, and Kanye. This is when he did the Sway interview. He was talking about how a big currency that we have is relevancy. And if you're not relevant, you know that's something that you can't exchange. You know, if you not in the people's eye, if you don't have their attention, then you kind of you don't have the juice. You're not popping, and so it
that makes me think about something.
What's up?
It makes me think about like the difference between the previous generation's version of like financial responsibility and like handling and just business in general versus our generation. I mean, I'm turning 30 this year.
Hey.
So I'm not like, I'm not like, I don't know. I guess I'm a millennial generation
now.
Yeah, I don't know what you gotcha. I don't know what generation I'm in, but I feel like there's a difference between the way my generation and people under my generation think about business and ownership versus Gayle King. So someone who does what Gayle King does, perfect example, someone in my generation who does something like that is, I think about like Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, or she's a troll.
Well, okay, not the troll, but I'm saying just interviewing people, or Nardwuar, or
Nardwuar definitely.
Yeah, or Dead End Hip Hop, or Anthony Fantano, or I'm basically naming lots of YouTubers, right? Because the point is that you are even Charlemagne the God to an extent, or Joe Budden. Like these are all people who understand the value of creating your own space so that you can control the narrative and you can control how you use your juice and how your star power, quote unquote, is manipulated. Whereas in prior generations, the goal was like to get put on and then have other people value you enough to give you a platform. But our generation is like, I believe I have star power, so I'm going to create my own platform and then I get to articulate my shine. You know what I mean? That's a bar. But her generation, I feel like just the difference, because what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is essentially, she has a skill set, a valuable skill set, right? And her skill set is one that unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, got her into a position to where a major network wants her to represent them or wants her to use those skills to create revenue for them.
Right.
But so when there's a big opportunity, it's dope for her because then she gets access to things without necessarily having to have her own clout. She just has the skills to execute the job. But to me, where that mentality, at least generationally, where I see that fails, especially when you work as a Black creator, like you end up getting put in situations or portrayed in certain ways that don't match the narrative that you want to tell.
Sure.
And so, and there's nothing she can do about it because she hasn't done the work to create her own following, her own platform. She doesn't have equitable, equidistationnel. She doesn't have an equitable platform, a YouTube channel, a Patreon community, a website where she can leverage her following and her voice and clout with those people to clarify, or even to say like, hey, here's my track record of doing this, and this. All she has is whatever the network puts into the news cycle, which for us means the last time we saw you was with, R. Kelly.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen you. The general public, haven't seen you since R. Kelly. Now you're here again. And it makes me wonder, maybe that's her personality. Like maybe her personality is like, she's just kind of hard nosed. Like she's like that auntie who don't take no jokes. You know what I mean? And she just be like extra hard on you, but she do it because she love you. You know what I mean? But if you don't know her and you ain't had her mac and cheese, it come across kind of like, well, she mean. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. In my opinion, this is a situation of like old school trying to still operate in the new, in I guess the new school.
Yeah. And she's like hard-hitting journalism.
Yeah.
Gayle King here.
Like, come on,
bringing you the news.
People are not having that kind of stuff anymore, man. Like,
I think maybe 20 years ago, that type of approach to a superstar who died would have been more publicly accessible because there was more of a distance between the audience and people that they value. But now that just doesn't feel right for some. You know what I mean? Like I watch it just feels very disrespectful and
And it
almost, you
feels
know what I
like
mean?
it feels car salesman-y, you know, like
Yeah.
where you just like, hey, look at this. I know you're looking for a regular sedan, but look at this
Yes.
incredible top of the line.
Come on down.
Like, get out of here,
Yeah.
man. Nobody's
Nah.
having that. You know, you're trying to sensationalize this man's life, his shortcomings,
Mm,
when that's not what Lisa Leslie was trying to focus on or talk about at all.
at all. Yeah. I don't even bro. So let's pose this question, and this will be for the masses. If you're watching
Sure.
this, let us know if you think the generational gap between Gayle King and most people who are like millennials and below is part of the reason why that the way that she phrased it or the way she tried to approach, because we're not going to say that Gayle King isn't skilled. She obviously is, but
Absolutely.
is the reason why that skill set didn't work in this context because of a generational gap, or was he just out of line, period, and that wouldn't have worked in 1960, 1980, or now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's important for us as creators to recognize, though, because like everybody who has a YouTube, like Lily Singh, like she's a famous YouTuber, and she recently just got her late night show. Like everybody who has these YouTube podcast situations, like it doesn't always transfer, and vice versa.
Sure.
So everybody who's popping on a network situation is not necessarily going to pop on a social media. When I say social, it's more of a we're all on the same level type of
Sure.
you know news or media platform versus a news situation where we would have to have ties on, you know. And the same thing, everybody like Lily Singh's show is not doing very well, last I heard, because it's just not her comedy, and her whole way of approaching her show is great on YouTube, but on the studio situation, it's not the same. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would, so to kind of talk about the old school meets new school, you know, with
Can you talk about like indie music? Just clarifying, like the indie music approach versus professional studio, because you've been in both. You know what I mean? At least on the music tip.
Sure. I mean, in terms of, okay, so I'll start with the old approach. So the old approach was, let's get an artist who's got this specific look. You know, if she's a girl, she's got to look like a Barbie. If it's a guy, it's got to be Fabio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's got to be a dude that's you know, got a certain look that's very clean cut. You know, if you look at any of the pop stars back in the day, all of them, you know, all the boy bands, the reason that the boy bands were so successful is because they had a certain look, they had a certain brand that they, you know, stuck with, and it was very polished, it was very clean cut, it was very like attractive, and you know, and so first you would start there. Do they have the look? And then they would go to the talent. You know, first they would find people who like, okay, are you interested in music? Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you, you know, are you funny? You know, whatever. And then they would say, okay, cool, but do you have the look? And if you didn't have the look, they would be like, I'm not sure if this is going to work. So that's why you didn't have, you know, anyway. So then they would go to the material. So they would go to the music and they would talk about, you know, what is your content? Are you someone singing to the ladies? Are you singing to kids? Are you singing to, you know, whatever? They would find your demographic based off of your look, based off of your sound. You know, then they would figure out, okay, what are your other, you know, strengths? Again, like I said, can you dance? Are you just a looker? You know, whatever. And so anyway, you will go that whole aesthetic route, and then the music even sounded super polished.
So if you're an artist or someone who aspires to be an artist, old school method is, in order for me to have the career I want, I have to first focus on my look, and then focus on what? Or then just try to get focus on my look, and then just don't worry about everything else, and try to get next to somebody with some clout, get next to a producer, engineer, go to a studio, move to New York.
The next part I actually appreciated was because there was no auto-tune. There was, you know, you can do as many takes as you wanted to, but, you know, before the early 2000s, people weren't using auto-tune.
Right.
And if you did, leaning into the 2000s, it just sounded like an audio effect. It didn't sound like cleaning up somebody's vocals. They would use,
that's funny. Your vocals.
They would use different like vocal effects.
No, when you said that, the audio said vocals, or did you say that?
Word?
Yeah, that's
Nah,
hilarious.
that's
Shout out to
funny.
Zoom.
There was a little glitch. Um,
Shout
so
out to the audio gods.
right, so there would be like effects such as reverb or
Hmm.
flange or chorus. They would use that on people's voice to kind of
Yeah.
like tune the vocals. And they would like double, they would stack your vocals,
Yep.
because the more stacks you have, the more in tune you sound. That's why a choir sounds good to people, because there's so many. It could be a lot of people singing kind of on pitch, but not the
Hmm.
best singers.
And you work with an indie choir, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with all kind, choirs, with small groups, with individuals, and so I kind of know the dynamic of each size group. So
Yeah.
back in the day before there was auto tune, that's they would have to make sure you can. Okay, now that we got the look. Are you a hard worker? Are you somebody that can at least figure out, okay, what are the things that's going to make you, when you get on stage, be able to sound like you can sing something?
Okay. So tell me this: if you're desiring a career in music or in entertainment
Yeah.
and or the news, and you are you move to New York or LA,
Right.
and you meet the big wigs. I don't know. And they say, "Oh, you look good, kid. You're looking pretty nice."
Yeah, see,
You're singing
see
it.
what you're doing there. Yeah.
Whatever happens. You want a martini? I don't know. That happens, right? How long before you're in front of an audience and you have to build an audience? Like, how long?
So
Go
again,
ahead.
we're talking back in the day. This
Right.
was they would do like artist development.
Yeah.
They would go back, they would do like media training. They would do dance, like all whatever you do on stage and in front of people and on cameras, they would make sure you repeat that, do it, train, practice
So
over
like
and
a
over,
month
tons of reps. No, not even a month. It'd be like 6 months to a year before an artist like really is in
before
front
you
of.
see the public.
Yeah.
And so let's say during that time you decide, I don't like this group of people. Could you just go to your audience and build your career directly to your audience?
Not really, unless you were
Okay,
going like
break
to
that
local,
down.
like local. Like, okay, so the Jackson 5 did it back in the day. This is still before my time, but from what I remember
Was it
hearing.
really, Tom?
Shut up, dude. You freaking jerk. No, but from what I remember hearing about was like the Jackson 5, they would go to like all kind of little clubs and bars and festivals. The way you would just do a grassroots, like if you like, hey,
So you had to literally travel around the country.
Yeah. Or like
Wow.
you were starting your city.
Did Joe Jackson sell drugs?
I don't know. I hope
How
not.
did Joe Jackson have money to take his family as a black man all around the country?
Well, what I'm saying is
independent of a label.
So I don't know, but I hypothesize
Joe Jackson sold drugs.
that they probably started. They probably started very, very small. They started in their local little city. They worked those clubs and festivals and bars for a while, and then maybe a year later, then they would expand their circle.
A year, bro. Okay, let's go to now.
That's why Michael Jackson is so. That's why he's so like when he was doing it, he was literally the king of pop. Like nobody,
because he had been doing it 20 plus years.
Yeah,
so, but let's think about now though. So if you're a content creator now or a creative, right, and you want a career in entertainment, right, music, news, media, whatever.
Totally different.
What's the starting point? Is the starting point move to New York, move to LA? Whatever.
The starting point is get you one of these, get you a phone. You know what I'm saying?
One of these.
Yeah, right. Get you a phone, and as long as it can record video and audio, you can post whatever, like record yourself, set it up, play whatever, sing whatever you're gonna sing, and then put it up on your IG and put that out to the world. That's putting out music these days. That's what it is. Bro, everybody knows that.
And you don't ever, and you can build your audience. So really back in the day, the reason why I know that was kind of long, but the reason why I wanted you to break that down for people is because the point is, from what I'm hearing you say, is that back in the day, the thing that made or break you was the studio. It was the label. It was the industry.
It was the process. It was
And it was,
the
but I'm
industry
saying,
was a big machine that had so many different parts.
yes, and you couldn't have the thing that decided if you stayed or not was, I mean, of course the audience played a role, but the audience was like one of the last steps. And so because of that, they were one of the least instrumental. A studio could keep putting you in front of people over and over and over again, and the audience kind of had no say in whether or not they got a chance to see you. They just had to see you. It was like 3 channels.
Yeah, pretty
However, now the audience is the first step. Right. Knowing how to interact and understanding your audience and building a relationship and trust and knowing what would go over well with them is the first step in being a content creator. And I think that's what Gayle is missing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She doesn't have, I guess, a respect for the audience to understand that your skill set comes after context with the audience. But because in the past, context didn't matter. You could become or be whatever. It was all about showing up, being professional, serving looks, executing. You know, I think about Claire Huxtable. You know what I mean? You just show up, you're excellent, you do what you do, you go home. It doesn't really matter who you are, how you sound, or how you come off. You're just doing the job really, really freaking well. That doesn't work today. You have to spend the time to really make that authentic connection and then find a way to put your content and your messaging inside of that authentic relationship you're building with the audience. You know what I mean?
And there's reasons, like, I mean, so this conversation is sort of veering off, but I like it better because
everything is disco, bro.
Everything is disco. So many people have already like approached this situation of Gayle King that I like the fact that we're going to talk about Gayle King and how wrong she was. However, we're also going to break it down from a whole different perspective.
Yeah, because we're thinking about things just the way we are is we're so we're just really creative people. And I hate the terms creatives because it sounds like something you can only do in Silicon Valley with like a trust fund. I prefer this term soul man because my grandmama was a soul woman. My granddaddy was a soul man. They had no budget, you know what I mean? But they were very creative people. And so there's not a sort of like hierarchy or classism associated with that. But what the point is, when we're approaching these things, what we want to do is we want to look at it from the perspective of a creative, of a person of soul, not just as like we're media pundits. Like I'm trying to look at it with empathy for all parties involved. And so
absolutely.
If she did the wrong thing, which, I mean, let's be frank, we both think she did. Here's why, and here's how she could have done it better. Best case scenario. You know what I mean?
I think one of the reasons why she did what she did was because content. You know, it was because views is because.
But I'm saying, okay, I feel you on that.
But
I'm also
that's not
saying
a wrong thing.
It's not. But I'm saying I don't even know if she gets to make those decisions. She's not the network.
Yeah, but
she's hired by the.
But I mean, to my knowledge, it's like, isn't that her show? That's what I'm
saying. Show? I don't know. I don't know anything about anything Gayle King does because I only see Gayle King when CBS pays however many millions of dollars they put to make sure it comes up in my feed.
Right.
So Gayle King, even if she wanted to, because obviously there were other parts of the interview she wanted people to see. Like that was her statement. Was like, that's just a small part of the interview. But guess what, Gayle King? I'm sorry. That sounds. Guess what, Auntie? Like Auntie, it didn't show up. I wanted to see other parts of the film, of the interview, but I didn't because CBS didn't put no money behind those parts, and CBS makes you happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know Gayle King existing, which to me is a whole other conversation about Black creators and Black people in general being independent and having a way to put forth their art and their messages, independent of like these big industries. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like this happened to Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did you hear that secret record that he put out?
Wait, there's something new? No, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, so Marvin Gaye had all these records, and in between What's Going On and what was the record after What's Going On?
I don't know.
I'm looking on my phone. Okay. Marvin Gaye secret. Break it down. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah, sure. So he put some new music out, or I'm not new music. He put some material out in between what's going on and whatever the next big album was. He put something else out in between, or did he not release it? He just kind of
it's called "You're the Man."
Okay.
The name of the record, I just found it. Okay, so the name of the record is "You're the Man," and "You're the Man" came right after "What's Going On." It was a record he wanted to follow up, and I think after "What's Going On," what came out? What was the joint?
I told you I don't know.
Okay, yeah. It came. I'll look it up, but it came. It was supposed to come out right after "What's Going On," but Motown didn't okay it because it was too political. So he couldn't control his own narrative. And the reason why I said the next record matters.
It was more political than Makes You Want to Holler?
Yes, bro.
Wow.
It was like directly going at the war.
I thought.
And so you know how it was. Like, no, you're not gonna get any type of network to approve you like speaking out against the Vietnam War.
Got you.
It just wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because of that, anyway, the point is like Black creators have always been censored. And I'm not saying that's what happened to Gayle King, but I'm also saying that's kind of what happened to Gayle King because the other things that would give some context of what she was saying were not put forth. And even if they were, like, even if they're on CBS's, CBS's thing, like the network knew that the ones that went were the ones that were gonna go. That's why they chopped them up.
Yeah, that's what you in media. That's what you call a soundbite. You know,
they knew the sound bites was gonna pop.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what they're supposed to do. The problem
that's their job.
Don't be the person creating the.
Don't be the one getting done.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they gonna do you. They're gonna do somebody, but don't let it be you. You know what I mean?
You've been in the game for long enough, Gayle King. You know, you've been in the game for long enough. So come on, man.
I'm sorry to see that happen to our auntie. And to get on Snoop's head real quick. Okay, first of all, before we move off, let's talk about this is the weirdest thing to me, and this is my last thing I gotta say about the Gayle King thing.
Yeah.
Why in the world, if she really wanted to have a conversation about Kobe Bryant, this is not I'm taking off my like creative empathetic hat and I'm just asking straight up questions.
Let's see if you're gonna ask the question that the one question that I actually wrote down. Let's see if you're gonna ask that.
Okay, look. If she wanted to get a perspective from Lisa Leslie on Kobe Bryant's legacy, and that means she had to assume that she would have some type of insight onto his character, right? That's the only insight, because Lisa wasn't there. So the only insight Lisa could have is as like some type of character witness, talk about what type of person he was. So when she asked him what type of person he was or what she thought about the case, why in the world did she then proceed to say, well, you wouldn't know it anyway? Like,
because
Lisa Leslie said he was clear. She said that's not the type of guy he was, and she said, well, you wouldn't know it anyway. And I said, well, if you think she wouldn't know it anyway, why did you ask in the first place?
But that's my point.
I feel like that was kind of rude. My bad, Auntie.
But that's my point when I was saying she was creating content.
Yes.
She was baiting the answer out of Lisa Leslie. Like, but you wouldn't really know, like, you know, would you? You wouldn't know.
So that's what I'm saying. If you think in your head as an interviewer, oh, you're not going to know because you're too close, then she's not a good person to ask. So now you're saying everyone who's like going in on her right now, you just proved them right.
Yeah.
Because now it does look like you're just asking it to like stir up drama and to get some clout. You know what I mean?
Now I'll say this from another perspective. She was also saying that we be calling her auntie, but in my opinion, she might have been like, okay, come on, woman to woman. We've seen this happen before. And you wouldn't know. I mean, you might see another woman in this situation, or you might see him do this with someone else, but of course he's not going to do it to you. So she was trying to play both sides. And
maybe she was trying to get Skicker some game in that moment. But to me, maybe. I think
she forgot that she was doing an interview.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that speaks to the authenticity of our culture too. Like sometimes we're so maternal or paternal or familial that we oftentimes leave ourselves open to be spun. Yeah. You know what I mean? To have what we say spun. But
she knows that at her age, she knows, she's probably seen it time and time. She grew up during that era, came up during that era when
yeah,
it was okay for her. Not okay, it's never okay. But when guys were making advances and women were just putting up with it. And so she was probably like, I know everybody's saying this is how he is, but that's how all of those guys are. You
right,
wouldn't know.
right.
So she could have been
Which I
coming from that
get.
perspective.
To me,
anyway,
I think if I go in that direction, though, it takes away from the professionalism that Gayle King, that I believe Gayle King to have, and the skill as an interviewer, because she wasn't on none of that with R. Kelly, and that's what we all loved about it. Is she pressed my man's. You know what I mean? And she was smooth with it. Like she wasn't she wasn't shaky. It was all very classy, very serious, very real, and very unshakable. So for me, and I will say very coherent. And so there was a lack of coherency in the conversation with Lisa Leslie. Even bringing up the subject, one, was incoherent. Two, if you bring up the subject, you have to have a reason, like maybe she provides some specific insight. And then when she did provide specific insight, it just wasn't it seems like it wasn't the insight she was looking for. And so then she discredited her insight, which basically discredited the question that she asked. You know what I mean?
Again, we going back to Auntie, right?
Yeah.
As if she's seeing a young black woman, I'm talking, she's talking to Lisa Leslie.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, maybe she forgot she was doing an interview. Maybe she, let me put you on game. Let me help you out. Let me,
Here's why this doesn't sit well to me. And I just realized it. It's because that's a clear bias. And the thing that we like about Gayle King is that she's an unbiased interviewer.
But in that situation,
and she just wants the truth. You know what I mean?
With R. Kelly, that was a man.
Right.
With Lisa Leslie, that was a sweet, innocent woman who,
we don't know if she's innocent.
I have no idea. I don't know Lisa.
I don't know one way or the other. I don't know what she be doing.
But I'm just saying, the way I saw it is, okay, you are not R. Kelly. I'm not coming after you.
The WNBA players have groupies?
Sure. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, she probably
Everybody
not
in the spotlight has a groupie.
She probably not innocent, bro.
Everybody in the spotlight has a groupie. Well, anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
We spent way too much
Y'all let
time
us know in the comments. The WNBA players have groupies? I don't know if that happened. Like, I've never been to a WNBA game because we don't have. I've been to a couple of NBA games because there's one in Memphis, but I don't know.
Yeah. So, should we move on, or you sure you want to talk about Snoop?
Oh, Snoop. Yeah, we just make our one statement and we move on because we spent so long on this, and I want to get into this Denzel Curry.
Way too long.
Yeah, it's cool though. It'll be cool. And y'all let us know if we talk too long about this. I mean, y'all let us know. It'll be on. You know what I mean?
So
I'll
put
my
this
necklace underneath my neck because it's loud.
I'll go so that you can gather your thoughts.
Okay,
I would say Snoop, in my opinion, like I said, so he brought up, why don't you and Oprah, why didn't y'all bring up anything about Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. He also said he got disrespectful. He really did.
Is Harvey Weinstein dead?
I don't know why you asked that question.
Because Kobe just died. So I was there some type of reason to bring up Harvey Weinstein when we're talking about Kobe Bryant?
No, because
I don't know why Snoop brought that up.
Both of them had issues with women.
Yeah, but so Gayle King's not interviewing him.
but his point is that him or that Gayle and Oprah are quote unquote friends with Harvey Weinstein. They hung out with him and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
so
okay.
Like, you look, why you over here hanging out with the actual dirtbag? Why you dragging Kobe under the bus? And this man is dead.
Oh, so you're hypocritical because this is not actually a principle that you hold to. This is just something you're doing in a biased situation. But I mean,
yeah. So
you were talking about his other statements.
He brought up some good points, but he went super far when he was like, respect the family and bag off before we have to come and get you. Like, Snoop, come on, man. You're too affiliated to make them
those type of statements. Jinx. Nah, I feel you, bro.
And then it did kind of ignite like other people.
Oh, they definitely. He gassed a lot of folks up.
Yeah, so that he went pretty far, and I think everybody went super far because I saw a lot of other people. The only one I saw that was okay was Bill Bellamy. Like he talked for maybe 4 minutes or so about Gayle King, and he didn't use any profanity. He didn't call her out her name. He just said, "Come on, we got to do better." You know, he's
But
like,
see,
"I
to
was
me,
in."
that's the problem with hip hop in general, bro. Like
What's that?
we're that's the problem with hip hop in general, bro. Like we're in a situation where we create these superficial versions. And I kind of want to get into the Billie Eilish statement too. But we create these superficial versions of ourselves in music, which all artists do. All versions of music are entertainment, right? They're not.
Sure.
It's not biographies. You know what I mean? This is
Right.
works of fiction created for the purpose of entertainment to communicate some type of message. And but I guess my thing is we've created a form of entertainment that's degrading to women in our communities. That's what it is. And we've bought into serving that up by the networks and all these other studios and large machinations. And so can we really be mad at Snoop Dogg for calling an older woman out her name when Snoop Dogg has been making music for the last 20 years?
That's been his thing.
Calling women out their name. So how can we be like, Snoop, I can't believe, I'm like, you can't believe Snoop Dogg?
No, I don't even think it's a unbelief. It's just a more of like, bro, chill.
Well, not you. I get it. And
I think
get
that's
it.
what everybody's coming from. I think they're like, no, we know that you are the Snoop Dogg. We get it. You know, we know your whole past and whatever, who you are, what you represent, but chill. Like,
and I think that's
now, bro.
That's old gangster. OG. I mean,
he's OG.
That's what it is.
They real. They'll smack you.
But yeah, I think Yo Gotti is a rapper from Memphis, super dope dude, and he just dropped a project, kind of it's a song on there anyway called Big Homie Rules. And that was loud. A song called Big Homie Rules, and that song is dope and it's important. And I just think some of the information from that could be applicable. So, Super, if you're watching, check out Big Homie Rules by Yo Gotti, and maybe some of the other things will apply to you. And Gayle King, I think it will be applicable to you too. You know what I mean? Check out Big Homie Rules too, because you can be a male or female big homie.
Absolutely.
Or gender non-binary big homie. Anybody can be a big homie. The point is, there's a way to move when you have influence.
Yeah, man. So
all right, cool. Denzel Curry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man. So okay, I'm gonna give you my initial thought.
Hold on. Denzel Curry just dropped a project.
Yes, hit it.
With Kenny Beats.
Yes.
Kenny Beats produced the whole thing. It's like 18 minutes long. It's called Unlocked. And I believe Denzel Curry freestyled the whole thing. Apparently that's his thing when he does music, is he freestyles everything in the studio, which I relate to because I do that in my music too. I freestyle a lot of my music. So
I'm even more impressed now.
Yeah. What do you think?
So, okay. I love the project. And the reason I love this project is simply because I saw the visuals at the same time.
Yeah, what was up with the Apple Music thing, bro?
So iTunes put out all the visuals with the audio. And so I was able to watch literally every single video from the album. It was pretty cool.
That's super dope.
That's all they had. I thought that was all. That's why I was like, were you able? I was like, did you have it on Apple Music or?
Bro, that was the weird. I was like, what is going on?
I was watching it going nuts because did you watch the link I sent you?
Yeah, it was dope.
So that's how I experienced the album.
Okay.
That was literally my only experience of the album, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that they put a lot of hard work into it. You can tell like the story, the whole storyline situation of, the files being leaked. That's something I know a lot of people go through.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty cool that they were able like to tie that into, like just being silly, the producer artist dynamic.
That was cool to see that. I feel like that's missing.
Yeah.
In 2020.
Right.
100%. So we need a rating scale. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love the fact that the time machine. So in the video, they had a time machine that actually was not a time machine. It just took them into like another dimension.
It's a dimension of the internet. Yeah.
Right. So I thought that was pretty funny. But anyway, it was a lot of aspects that I could talk about that were funny. But go ahead.
Yeah, and let us know if y'all want us to do like a more in-depth dive into this, and we definitely can.
Yeah.
Man, okay, so for me, the thing, the context for me hearing this project was actually like on YouTube. I was watching somebody talk about Gayle King and Billie Eilish, and then the guy had another video. I don't even remember his name, but he was talking about the project, and I just kept listening. I was like, yo, this actually sounds super dope. And I have always meant to check out Denzel Curry. He's one of those rappers that you hear about, but I wasn't sure if he was like in like the Lil Uzis and if he was on there or if he was more on some, I don't know, on some like, there's like a lot of people who are in between. So like YB and Cordae, Boogie, not a Boogie, but Boogie, Saba. I think Saba's more indie though, but you have like people who are kind of in this interesting, like, ski mask, the slump god.
Right.
The people who are super lyrical, but they're also very much so, in their generation. So I think I can say Denzel is definitely a spitter. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And he's definitely like a musician. We don't have a rating label, but he's definitely outside the box. And I think for me, for a project, you know what I mean? There should be a difference between like a project that's, it just fits the mold to an album that breaks the mold. And I definitely think for me, that's all I really care about in music these days. Is it inspiring or not? If I don't walk away inspired, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if I do walk away inspired, okay, dope. That's dope. So for me, I think this project is definitely inspiring. You know what I mean?
I would say it was inspiring. Like I was not so much impressed by what he was saying, simply because I was watching the visuals. And like growing up, kind of, watching, anime and cartoons, all that kind of stuff. Like it just fit into like the whole wacky, like Scooby-Doo type of vibe.
Yeah, they went on some weird, he definitely feels like it's definitely out the box. You know what I mean? So if you had to give it a rating, okay, so let's say 4.4 is your standard pop fare. Okay, so what you would get to see. Right. What would you say is a time signature that would represent like the craziest out of the box? You know what I mean? At 3.4 is like, it's still in the 4 signature. You know what I mean? So it's not super crazy, but it's definitely creative, but probably still in the pocket. You know what I mean? So what would you say is a time signature? You're a drummer. What would you say is a time signature that would like, for us, an album that's like, yo, everybody needs to check this out. This is something the culture needs. What would you say?
I mean, something that the culture needs is still 4.4. Like you can't get away from. Right. It's not a whole lot of soul music and like vibe type music that's made in other time signatures. But I mean, something that's just out the box would be like 9/8. Okay. Or like 7,
because it's still a you can still count 4 as in the 9/8.
Right. Well, no, not really.
Okay.
Because a 9/8 feels like 3.4, which is
okay. Yeah, but you can still count the 4. You know what I mean? The denominator.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but not really. Not really. But
it's not a 6 though.
It is. It's like 6/8, but it's just one. It's just 3.
But it's not like a 5/6 though.
So everybody, just to let you know, I'm a musician and Bartholomew Jones is not. Okay, so
but I love music. I'm trying to figure it out. Hey, y'all, this is why if you heard my music, it'd be like, yo, why is Bart so creative? Like, where? It's because I spent all my early years learning music, trying to have a conversation with this dude. And being frustrated and walking away and be like, I'm gonna figure out a way to do this. You know what I mean?
But we came up with some really interesting stuff, man. I will say that. But I will say this: it is a very interesting project, especially now knowing that he freestyled it. Also, the fact that it was more so when I watched it, it was just a dope soundtrack to visuals.
Yeah.
And then it was not just like visuals, just like backgrounds. It was actually a storyline. Like they took
Yeah.
time to, put the storyline together, and like you can tell they were in the studio, like doing voiceovers and coming up with
Yes, bro.
creative
It wasn't just
stuff.
like a visual. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was a
yeah,
visual with actual narration in the script.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know.
so I think for from a production standpoint, whoever produced the album, if it is all Kenny
It's Kenny
Beats,
Beats. Yeah, it's all Kenny.
I mean, even the like all the visual, like they had
Oh, I
some
don't know who
really,
did the visuals.
like I'm saying, there were like some interludes and stuff that was happening in between that was like real vibey type, jazzy, hip hoppy. Like
Yeah,
if that
so
was
if you
all
listen to
him,
the project, there are some interludes that he did all that with, like the voiceovers and
yeah,
the teenage male is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
all of
yeah,
that. You know what I mean? Or like the samples with the like, and that's how you got Cotton Eye Joe or whatever that
yeah. There
Skimpy
was
Joe, whatever
one.
they're doing with.
There was one track. It was called Track 7, and on the video they were like just running from the big money dude,
Yeah,
the
that's Kenny Beats.
Monopoly dude. That track grew super hard, and then the very last track,
Cosmic.
for the credits, the one under the credits, that one also grew super hard too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it's all Kenny Beats.
Okay, that's what's up. I mean, well, he did his thing. Kenny Beats definitely did his thing.
Yes.
Let me see, what else did I have to say about the whole project, so we can kind of wrap this up as well. Yeah, I mean, the artistry. I would say this. I'm excited about where it's going. I'm sorry. I'm excited that he went on ahead and just kind of jumped out there and said, you know what? I'm not putting any trap or any trap sounds or any trap beats.
Yeah.
No trap flows. Like he
Yeah.
did his own thing, and I think like a lot of times people will go back.
The
and
closest was like Layup.
Yeah, at least one or two. What'd you say? Oh,
the closest track that was trappy was like Layup.
Right. And I think people will go towards like whatever the poppy sound is, just so they like, okay, I know this is gonna be different or weird, but let me like at least get people to love this one or two sound, this these tracks. And they're like, I know I'll make some sales with these. I know I'll hit the charts with these songs. And I think he didn't care. I think Denzel
just wait till they hear my trap.
Right. I think Denzel, the way it came across to me was, this is something that I love doing. I've spit over backpack rapper sound, beats, and I want to do something I love, something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah,
it sounded great. It was artistic, and then the other thing I was gonna say is, this is an album, hopefully, that artistic producers and artists, singers, rappers, whatever. I think this is gonna be another album that's gonna start paving the way. I think you have people like Kendrick Lamar, like what's my man, the album Malibu, Anderson .Paak. You got a lot of different artists who put out some music that were outside of the trappy norm that's happening right now, and I think this falls in that category. Something that's just kind of sort of groundbreaking, but it's also a callback to the what was like mid to late 90s sound that he kind of was channeling on this project. So I dig it.
Okay.
I like it a lot. I like
so look, let's do this. Do this. Would you say it's the jazz soul of Little Stevie? So you know what I mean by that, right? That's like one of Stevie's first records, dropped in 1962. It's got like Fingertips. What else is on here? That's really probably the only joint that people still play.
I don't know any of those. Maybe I need to hear it.
You know Fingertips. I'm gonna play it. We can mute it.
All right. Man, one other thing I loved was I can't hear it. Put your mic to it.
You know that joint?
Yeah, it's not really picking up on the microphone for some reason.
Let me get a bigger record. Okay, this joint. Man, okay, hold up. Stevie has so many records, bro.
Stevie, oh my goodness, we gotta have to do a whole podcast just for him one day.
Yeah, bro. Stevie has a million.
While you're looking for that, I want to say, I love how, and this is kind of a deep dive, but I love how Denzel kind of went in and out of, like DMX flows and like,
yes, bro.
Fredro Starr from from Onyx and like, all of that stuff. He went in and out of that voice, that scruffy, rough voice to sometimes it would be like high pitched stuff, sometimes it'd be low pitched stuff. Like
bro,
to play with his tone, his intonation, his just storytelling with his voice and really drawing you into the music. So I love when people, singers and rappers can do that. It's a I don't know. It's just a show of your skill, that you've tested, not just one particular style or sound, but you're comfortable with, he's comfortable with his voice. He's comfortable with his creative presentation. So
yes,
I love that. Yeah, man.
Okay. I think I got it. So you got For Once in My Life, Stevie.
Okay. Okay. I know that one. Yeah.
Okay. So you go from what's it? Because Stevie has some stuff where he was just doing instrumental stuff. I didn't know that. So you got For Once in My Life, Stevie, or you got Songs in the Key of Life, or you got Journey Through the Secret Wonders, Secret Life of Plants. So you see why I picked those three records?
Yeah.
You got a record that's just a pop record. It's a good pop record, but it's just pop. You got something that's gonna change the whole culture. Like Songs in the Key of Life. And you got like this is probably nobody's gonna listen to this, but I'm glad you did it. It's a creative expression.
Experimental.
It's kind of too experimental. Yeah. You know what I mean?
This is, in my opinion, this is on the edge of experimental and like, I don't want to say groundbreaking because it's literally not groundbreaking. Like it was like Wu-Tang.
It's super retro, but it's retro and futuristic at the same time.
Yeah, I can give it that for sure. If this thing catches on, like I hope it does, like it's already got 1 point some million views and it was just dropped like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And that's like the visuals, the 23-minute, visual, which is the whole album. So in my opinion, it's gonna, I mean, I hope, okay, I'm not gonna say it's going to, but I really hope that it gets the attention that it needs to get. It should. It was super creative, it's different, and it's well done. And I think anytime you do something that's like it's well done, you have a name for yourself. He's got a great following. He's got a name for himself.
So maybe we could put it like a talking book.
Talking book. I can see that.
Yeah, maybe put it at like a talking book. I think we're gonna rate records, guys, by Stevie Wonder joints.
So that means,
but it's like a talking book.
Yeah, do your research, do your homework, and find and check out. Listen to Stevie Wonder's albums, and we're just gonna rate stuff based off of that.
He's got enough records that you can literally. But so it's a joint where it's like, this is good. There's some joints on here that's gonna go. The whole vibe is like, I think they're moving in a dope direction.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've like done something that's so undeniable it's going to change the whole game, but I definitely think it's a really important record, and it's a dope record. Favorite tracks?
Favorite track, Pyro.
Oh,
Pyro is my favorite track off the
I didn't
thing.
Expect that.
No.
He had Pyro goes hard though.
Bars.
Yeah, Pyro goes hard. My favorite track was So Incredible.
So Incredible. I don't know. Oh, let me see. Which one is that? Which one?
You want me to play it?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, get it. I don't write rhymes, nigga. I write checks.
Yeah.
The price check.
Whole vibe.
Yeah.
That bounce.
I'll give that one for sure.
The groove is super hard.
Yeah, in terms of the music, the track, I'll go with that one first. So.
Yeah, musicality, the chorus, bro, like, and they were distorted or detuned or whatever, but it was still super dope.
Yeah,
so
stuff.
That's my favorite joint. Okay, we're signing off. My wife's here. I'm gonna kick with her.
That's a good reason to sign off.
Yes, y'all. Absolutely. Yes, y'all. And you don't stop.
Stop. So
this has been Everything is Disco.
Yes, Everything is Disco. Hey, be on the lookout, man. We might be changing the name. I'm not sure.
Yeah, y'all let us know if we should.
Yeah.
It's an old name.
Yeah, it's a super old name.
It might be on some The Secret Life of Plants type stuff.
All right, my good guy, we signing off.
Okay, this is for y'all. Let us know. The first week we kind of did independent audio and visuals. This week we're trying Zoom. Next week we'll try YouTube. Let us know if you have a method that you think is dope for doing podcasts in the video, and let us know which one you like the most. So go back and check out our older stuff.
And then for anyone actually starting a podcast, we'll do a podcast on all the stuff that we found out.
Once we find one we like.
Further.
Because we try everything
for a long time. So
yes, everything besides moving. All right, I'm out, bro.